Welcome everybody, one and all, to the stream and to a very special roundtable where we'll be hearing from community members who are now on the dev team at KingsIsle, working on your favorite games. I want to thank everybody who's here to talk with the community. I think we've got a little bit of an echo there.
That's Kyle.
I'm terrible. Wow.
And I am so honored and humbled that so many of you wanted to come and to this roundtable and talk with the community. So without further ado, let's introduce everybody. Say hi, Cam.
Hi, my name's Cam. I'm a developer. I've been here for a little over 1 year, and I'm also known as Hephaestus or King Festus. Yeah.
Welcome. And next we have Dearly Doodles, which is Mia.
Hi, my name's Mia. I'm an associate character artist here at KingsIsle for both Wizard and Pirate that I work on. I've been here for almost 2 years in June, I believe. And yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Welcome. Love having so many of you. Next is Kyle.
Wow. My name is Kyle Isilder, also known as Kyle Don the Heel. I'm the community manager for Wizard101.
And next is Mesa.
Hello, I'm Mesa, otherwise known as Macerin. I am marketing specialist for KingsIsle. I do stuff for both Wizard and Pirate, and also Wizard EU.
She might be having some mic issues.
Huh?
What? I hear.
Yes.
I think you're having some speaker issues.
But yeah, I've been here almost 2 years in July. That's me.
Awesome. Welcome. Next is Mercedes.
Hello, my name is the Art of Warlord, and I'm on the design team here at KI, and I've been working here for 3 years now. I originally started on the QA team.
Oh, awesome. Cool. And next is, well, this says Myth Dust, but it's also known as Kaylee, right?
Yep, that's me. Hello, I'm Kaylee. I'm the marketing manager at KingsIsle. I also started in QA, and then I kind of transferred over to marketing, and I'm coming up on, I think, my 4th year here. So that is me.
Awesome. Nice to talk to you. Next up is Erica.
Hello. So I am mostly known as Okidenshi on Twitter and Tumblr. Also that Wizard Oki on the Tumblr tag specifically. And yeah, I started out as a 3D animation intern this past summer, and then I got hired on as an associate character animator for both Wizard and Pirate. So I've only been here a little over half a year, but I'm really enjoying it so far.
Awesome. And let's see. Next up is Stormbringer.
All right, I'm Stormbringer, also as Dom or Dominic. I've been a systems designer and been here for around 2 years. Started out as a systems design intern, and now I'm an actual systems designer.
Oh, welcome. And I believe that's everyone that's in the call right now, right?
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, since how this is a show all about getting to know you guys, let's get into these questions. So, what is your gaming background? What is your story?
We going top down again?
Yeah, let's start with Cam.
Oh, perfect. Gaming background. Well, funnily enough, growing up, I wasn't allowed to play many video games, but I took every opportunity I could, and I really loved board games and making a game out of pretty much anything that I could. But yeah, I guess in high school, college era was when I mostly got into video games and making them and playing a lot of Wiz.
Awesome. How about next
Oh.
for Mia? Yeah.
Guess I'm next. Let me look. Gaming background. I've been playing this game since I was around 9 or 10 years old, and now I'm old. But Wizard101 kind of started my whole gaming experience, and it's gotten me into art and learning how to paint and do concept art and digital illustration. And I learned how to do most of my painting work off of studying the bundle cards in high school. And now I do some concept work here and there, 3D modeling and texturing for the company. But yeah, it kind of kickstarted my whole art journey, which I am extremely grateful for.
That's awesome.
Well, what's the first thing you ever drew of on Wiz?
Oh,
Yeah, that's a great question.
oh man, it is somewhere in the depths of DeviantArt. In the depths.
Someone go find it.
Oh no.
Oh, I guess it's me.
Yes, it's your turn.
Okay. So, oh no, there's somebody walking going to my house. But yeah, so I started playing Wizard101 in 2008. Definitely not as soon as everybody else started playing, but my whole family started to play. So my twin brother started to play. He actually was the one that got me into it. And then my mom started to play. And ever since I started playing Wiz, I think Wiz was really like the first big like game that I ever really like fell into and really enjoyed. I always wanted to be in the gaming industry. And so around 2017, I made my first YouTube video. And, you know, ever since then, I've just been kind of, I guess, networking, I guess you could say, with people at the company. And then eventually I moved to Texas, and here I am.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah, so my gaming background, I really started at a really, really young age. I was definitely either 3 or 4. I've started with a a CD-ROM called Disney's Winnie the Pooh Toddler. And I would pop balloons on that game on my PC. And then I was definitely a PC gamer and browser game person, like Pop Tropica, Fun Brain, Primary Games, Cool Math Games, stuff like that. And then I eventually got a Wii and a DS Lite. And so the Nintendo consoles are really the only stuff that I had gaming console-wise. And then Wizard101 was the first game that I actually had to download something from the internet off of. So my parents were very skeptical at first. But that's how I got into Wizard101. And then eventually that was in 2009. And then I started playing Pirate at its beta. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Let's see. Mercedes next.
My gaming background, I enjoyed playing story games like BioShock, Dishonored, Assassin's Creed, and I really enjoyed puzzle games like Frogware Sherlock Holmes games and Her Interactive Nancy Drew games. I also found a love for arena shooters. It started with TF2, but then I moved to titles like Overwatch, Fortnite, Apex, Valorant, and then before I started playing Wizard, I had a GameCube where I normally just played Legend of Zelda. And then I started playing Wizard101 when I was 12, and as the years went by, I was inspired by KingsIsle's community's team and their enthusiasm from KI Live, and then the shorts like the KingsIsle Office that you can find on YouTube. But this led me to become a content creator and interviewing the KI devs and forming relationships within KI. And so whenever the time came, I started in the QA department, and as the opportunities presented themselves, I took all sorts of paths, like tried helping in sound and marketing and community, and then in design. And I found that my passions ran towards design, so here I am.
That's so cool. And next is Myth Dust.
Oh geez, I've loved video games ever since I can remember. I think my very first game console was the PlayStation 2, if I remember correctly. And then I just started kind of slowly collecting more and more consoles over the years, and that's something I still do. I love to collect old consoles. I have Nintendo 64, a Sega Dreamcast, the original Xbox, and then I still haven't picked up like all of the newer ones like the PS5, but I'll do that someday. As far as like what types of games I played, I used to play a lot of PC games when I was really, really younger, like those classic Putt Putt Pajama Sam, I think was my kind of first introduction into video games.
Oh,
And then
I got
those
the
were
one out
great.
of cereal
love
box.
those.
Pajama Sam cereal box disc.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yes, I did. I did get one out of a cereal box. It was the one with the food, the talking food, you are what you eat from your head to your feet. Oh my gosh, I still remember that. Anyway, so loved those. I had stuffed animals of those characters. I was a huge fan. And from there, I kind of went into some shooters like Battlefield and Call of Duty. I also played the Lego story games like Lego Star Wars, Lego Indiana Jones. I was really into those when I was younger. And then eventually I started playing MMOs. Wizard101 was one of them, and the rest is kind of history. So that's kind of my gaming background.
Nice. And how about you, Erica?
I guess similar to most folks here. Well, similar to Kyle, I had a younger brother who was always really into games, and we had a PlayStation 2 that we played like Bionicle and Lego Star Wars and all that stuff on. When we were a little older, we started playing computer games, mostly MMOs. And whatever he played, I usually ended up playing as well. We played things like Toontown, Fusion Fall, Pixie Hollow. There was like a Pirates of the Caribbean MMO that we were really into. And then, when I was around 10 years old, he started playing Wizard101. And the funny story about that is that I actually thought the game was silly when I was younger, when he was showing me like his little Piggle Pet and all that stuff. I remember telling him, like, as a jerky older sister, I was like, that looks silly, why are you playing it? And then I started playing it, and then it proceeded to become literally my favorite thing in the entire world. For those that don't know, I talk about it a good bit, but I am autistic, and Wizard101 has been my #1 special interest for literally the past like almost 15 years. I mean, I love the game, but I also just love the story and lore and world building of the game. It is one of my absolute favorite things to it's very creatively inspiring for me, and to be able to get to work on the game now and contribute to the lore a little bit, and just contribute to the game really at all, is really awesome and amazing and so satisfying. So yeah, that's kind of my gaming background.
That's so awesome.
I think it's your turn, Eric.
Yeah.
Dom,
Oh, yeah, if it's my turn.
Get it, Dom.
But my gaming background, let's see, played N64, a lot of Super Mario 64. Then I moved on to computer games. So I really like the Civilization series, strategy series like Age of Empires, stuff like that. Eventually discovered Wizard101 in 2008, 2009-ish, because a family member used to play, and they introduced me to it. And been playing since. Contributed to the forums, joined a few fan sites and stuff like that. And I also rotate between Wiz and Pirate 101. I kind of like doing like hard, either PvP or hard PvE challenges. Like I like to do like little solo challenges, like soloing the Storm Titan, stuff like that. So it's been a dream come true to kind of work on the game and like introduce some bosses and actually get to like build some of those combat experiences that I really enjoy in the game.
That's awesome. Yes, that's so cool. And so I know a few of you have already touched on this with your introductions, but what makes Wizard101 and Pirate, because you got to give Pirate some love, what makes these games so special to you?
wow, that's a good question. I was thinking about this. It's for me, it's actually kind of really hard to put my finger on exactly what it is. I know it's going to sound cheesy, but there's almost like a magic to it where it's a perfect combination of of fun game mechanics and the community and the world, the story. Just like at least when I first started as a kid, it felt really, feels really real, and it feels like a place that you always want to go to. And it's, I guess, yeah, for me, it's also just been a place where I can hang out with my family who plays, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm always it's always my go-to thing to do.
That's so awesome. And how about you, Mia?
Wizard and Pirate, both of them are both very special to me because it's where I met a lot of my long-term friends and friends that I'm now working with in the company. It's just been a game where I've just opened me up to the whole community and meeting everyone and like formed special friendships that lasted years now, and it's something that like I wouldn't be where I am now without it, which I am extremely grateful for.
That's so cool. It is really so much about the community. And how about you, Kyle?
I mean, I'm probably going to be agreeing with like everybody here, but like for sure. I mean, I even said it in the first question. I played this game with my family, and that also includes Pirate. Although my mom didn't play Pirate, I think it was just me and my brother that played Pirate. But honestly, that was one of the main reasons why it's so special. Is that this game was like a huge part of my childhood with my family. And then, like Mia said, just creating these like now hopefully like lifetime friendships with these incredible folks at King's Isle is actually just like a really big dream come true. And then just working on the game, that's incredible. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Wizard and Pirate are special to me because when I was younger and even now still, I was and am very introverted and shy and all that. So it really helped me to make friends. And then it also, as other people have said, it helped keep in touch with family. My family's fairly small, but all of the cousins were really, really close. But then one by one, we started moving away from each other. So it was just really nice that we always had that rock that we could all come together, even if we didn't have like anything to talk about or anything. But we could just play the game, and then that's the thing that we're talking about, and it was just nice to be together. And then again, as other people have said, it was just cool. Like I don't know where I would be without Wiz and Pirate, and it's just like I didn't really know where I wanted to go, like in terms of direction of where I wanted to be, like job wise, career wise. So it's just really nice to be able to see like where I'm supposed to be, like future wise. So yeah.
That's so cool that you get to play it with your family too. And next is Mercedes.
Hello. I would say Wizard101 holds a special place in my heart because of its story. It's not gonna sound cheesy, but it's not just the game story, but the team story. The initial design of the game to be able to be played on an older machine that lessens the barrier to the entry for new gamers, and the passion that I have seen on the team every day. Like every day I see Art Daly's emails from the team showing upcoming things and see the creativity firsthand. And my team has a lot of senior talent and they've been here for years. So, from them, it's like a really good place to be. And from a game aspect, I'd say Wizard101 is special to me because it lets me relax and I don't have to be the best to play it.
I agree. Same for me. This is really it's my relaxation point, Real life is hard. I love Wiz. And Pirate too. And how about you, Kaylee? I don't know why they're backwards. I love this. I don't know how they did it.
I guess the biggest reason why the games are special to me is because, well, I got a job in the industry. There's that. But I'll go into that a bit later. But also a big reason why the games are special are just because of the lifelong friends that I've met. And that also sounds really cheesy, but like it's so true. A lot of the people I work with, I knew from the community because they're in this call, or I knew because I interacted with them when I was a fan site owner and I did a lot of content. And a lot of coworkers I hang out with outside of work, like we'll just go walking around outside or we'll hang out on the weekends. And it's really, really cool the friendships that you make. And you can just tell that it's different because you have these different connections with people and you genuinely want to be around them. And I think that is so, so cool.
Absolutely. And Erica?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just probably going to echo a lot of what people have already said. Again, like a lot of people like in this call, I've known for many, many years, and have played the game with for many, many years. And just being a part of the community has been such a nice resource for me, especially, like a couple people here, I'm a little bit more introverted or like not super good at socializing. So in that stuff is easier to do, through a game, where you kind of have a little bit of a wall, but you can still connect with people. Like I said, I love the story, and the lore of the game. It's one of my favorite things. I guess too, the Wizard specifically helped me through a really rough time, when I was a teenager. And without it, I might be in a much different spot than I am now. It was always kind of, a source of community when I felt like I had none. It was a source of identity when I felt like I had none. So it kept me afloat for a little while when I was younger. And now it's something that I feel really enriches my life in so many different ways. Both from working here, but also as just like an artist and connecting with so many people. So yeah, definitely takes up a lot of my life and a lot of my heart. So
That's so good.
And Wizard101 is special to me because, like everyone has said before, it's all about the community and all the people we've met. Many people on this call, like I've known either in Wiz or I've known from like guide sites or in the community and all that. And as a game itself, Wiz is very unique. Like I've tried to look for games like Wiz, and if you've tried to look for games like Wizard101 or Pirate 101, you'll know that there's really no other game quite like it. And it always feels like whenever you come back to Wiz, it feels like you're coming back home. It's like there's something about it. It's so familiar and so welcoming, and it's just like, I'm finally back, and you can do whatever you want here. Like I've noticed, like throughout my gaming history, like the different ways I've kind of played have changed, but Wizard 101 itself has always felt like kind of like a home that you could come back to, and I think that's really special for any kind of game, and especially as an MMO that the game has been going on for a number of years, and that's very special, especially for an MMO because games tend to shut down after a few years or whatnot. But Wizards keeps going, and we have a strong community, and we keep trucking on. And like I said, I think a lot of people can relate to like sometimes you take the break from Wiz and you come back, and it's just like it's all floods back in, and you're like, yes, I'm back where I belong.
Yes, it's so true. I think a lot of what, the community feels about the game, I mean, it just pretty much echoes and resonates with everyone. That's why I love the game. So, what was your particular personal path to working at King's Isle?
All right. So for me, I wasn't in the larger wizard community until kind of recently, about I would say a year and a half to 2 years before I got hired. I was just freshly out of college or finishing up college when COVID hit, and I started playing a lot more, and I started getting a lot more involved with the game and the community, and like content creators and such. And becoming a content creator myself making stuff like decathlon guides and whatever else I could do to help. Um, the Yeah, but before that, I've my career path has I've always wanted to be a game designer, ever since I was pretty. I guess ever since I learned that it's something you could do as a job. Um, so, yeah, I made a bunch of games. I applied, and then I got in, and it's been really awesome.
Wow, that's so cool that you made some games. Wow. Any of them we've heard of?
Oh, definitely not. Like just just super just like learning the tools kind of games and yeah.
Oh, gotcha. And how about you, Mia?
My work path, I was contracted to work on Caramel my senior year of college. I believe it was around the beginning of the year. I worked on gear sets such as the hazmat suit, the Jellymancer, and the other one that I believe is craftable. And once I graduated college that summer, um, I was scooped up to work as an intern for the next 6 months as a character artist, which I am still now, fully full time. And I worked both on Pirate and Wizard. But to get where I got here, or like how I got here, is I did a lot of fan art for the game, for both games. Just making a lot of my own characters that I still hold dear to myself and probably are a little bit recognizable, I guess. But yeah, that's how I got here.
Yeah, I definitely, your art always stood out because not only did it remind me of like the in-betweener screens in the game, but the original characters that I saw. I always loved the kangaroos and the wolves. I was like, I love these. They bring me joy.
Thank you.
How about you, Kyle?
Yeah, honestly, similar to Cam, like I really never got into the community, like the bigger part of the Twitter community content creation, really until, like I said, the 2017, I guess, scene. I don't know. But yeah, I've always been kind of, I guess, networking. Networking was like a huge part of, I guess, my like path to working at King's Isle. So like I used to speak with like Renee Wooten a lot, the former producer at King's Isle. Gem. Kaylee was a huge inspiration to me, and it's incredible working with her. Matthew Anderson, and so like everybody at King's Isle was like a huge part of helping me get to where I am today. So networking, that's like really important. Everybody should do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, going off of what Kyle said, networking definitely. But yeah, my kind of path, mine really started in 2015, really. This is when I had started streaming on Twitch and growing my personal community. I was never a very like large creator for the game, or I didn't really put myself into any community things until around 2018, 2019, where I had gotten into a fan site named Dual Circle, and I would help with their PvP tournaments and whatnot, and I eventually became part of their staff. And then I also got into an organization called GamerS, and they're a group of people that empower women in esports. So I thought that was really cool. And I was considered a master of PC games was my title, volunteer title. And then in 2019, I got my associate's degree in general communications, but I honestly really didn't know where I was going with that or what I really wanted to do with it. And so I started working just other jobs. So I was working a full-time job and a part-time job when I came across the job description for a role that was kind of split between the community team and the marketing team. And so I knew I didn't have a lot of experience in the industry, and I really didn't know if it would be actually worth it for me to apply or not. But I really, 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 really wanted the position. So because of that, I went out of my way and I wanted to go I took a couple courses online. And while I was doing this and whatnot, I had actually DM'd Kaylee on Twitter and I asked her if I should apply for it or like now, or if I should wait until I finish the courses. And she said for me to do it now. And so I did. And then I just, she had said to apply it now and then put it in my cover letter. So that's what I did. And then I got an interview. So, and that was pretty much it. So it's really all about those connections for sure. And we love Kaylee.
Originally, I actually didn't plan to work at Kings Isle. I was actually working in welding at the time, and I realized once I got a welding job, I didn't enjoy welding as a career, even though I liked welding as a craft. So after that, I had that realization, and multiple of my KI connections mentioned that a position was open for Kings Isle's QA department, and I decided to go for it. I wasn't sure if I would get it because I had no QA experience, but for a game like Wizard, game knowledge on the QA team can be a lot more helpful because it's easier to train someone in QA than it is to train someone that knows QA a game as old as Wizard is. And then once I got the job, well, I've been in Austin for the past 3 years, so pretty cool.
Awesome. And how about you, Kaylee?
Yes. I think I had a pretty relatively long road because I was doing a lot of community work for years before I was hired. I guess my first major thing that I did was, I got to know the game, played the game for quite a bit, and then I started volunteering on Wizard101 Central as a pet derby tournament master. So I helped put on some derby tournaments and kind of enforce the rules. That was kind of my first volunteer community gig. And then from there, I kind of networked a bit with some of the people who worked at Kings Isle. And after I toured, I got a volunteer gig at MMORPG.com, where I did a column for I think 4 years that I did like a bi-weekly or weekly Wizard101 post. Which was pretty cool because I had never really done something like for a huge site like that before. So that was really, really good experience. Then there was a group called Mercenaries 101 where I joined that group for a bit, and then I helped people with difficult bosses, made guides, we did contests. It was a really, really fun group to be a part of, and I'm still in contact with a bunch of those lovely people. And I also did my own fan site for a bit called The Untold Spiral, where I did a lot of like world descriptions and summaries, as well as some other posts. And then just because of everything I was doing and what I had done over the years, Kings Isle noticed, and they offered me a volunteer forum moderator position. So I was technically the first player who I think got to moderate the official forums. I believe, I could be wrong, but I thought I was the first. And from there, I got to know the team some more. A QA position opened up after I got my degree. So I applied there, got it, and then about 8 months after I got my QA role, a marketing position opened up. I was really nervous for that interview because I really, really, really wanted it, but luckily I did fine. I got the role. Then the acquisition happened, and because of that, I've gotten quite a bit more responsibility. So I've gotten to build out my team here, and it's been really, really exciting. I've gotten to hire great people like Mesa, and I'm just really excited that I get to do what I do and work on the things I do. So very, very grateful.
That's so awesome. And how about you, Erica?
Yeah, man, I feel like it's hard to even know where to start exactly, just because I feel like this game it's been a huge part of my life. But Uh, yeah, I mean, as when I was in high school and even earlier, I knew I wanted to do some sort of artistic thing as a career or a job. And originally, I went to an art school looking to be a storyboard artist because I was really interested in like visualizing scenes and stuff like that. And then further into my time at college, I got really into 3D animation and 3D art. Um, and yeah, for my senior thesis, I ended up doing a 3D animation and all of that. Uh, and I had always wanted to possibly work at King's Owl, just because, like I said, game's a huge part of my life, and that was always kind of a dream position for me. Um, and it was actually really kind of crazy how I ended up becoming an employee here. I feel like. Um, uh, I remember very distinctly. I was walking to the mall in center city of Philadelphia, because that's where I went to college, to buy a graduation dress for my graduation that was in like 5 days. And for a while, I was thinking about, what I wanted to do after graduation. Like, did I just want to get a whatever job and, build up my portfolio for a couple of years? Because a lot of people do that after art school and then start really applying myself to jobs. Just thinking about what I wanted to do. So I'm walking to the mall, doing my thing, and I get this text message from Mercedes, who I've known for many, many years, that KI was kind of interested in doing a couple internship positions for the summer and was asking if I was interested. And I think I almost got hit by a car because I was so flabbergasted that was something that had just happened. Literally right before graduating and finishing my college career. There was a lot that happened in between that time and then a month or so later. But yeah, I did the interview process, and I think I put together a portfolio website to send to KI within like 3 days, right before I graduated, which was kind of a crazy thing. But yeah, did the interviews. They liked me enough. I got accepted as an intern this past summer in June. And the internship was only supposed to last for a couple months, but I was very honored that guess they liked me enough to kind of keep me around full time and all that stuff. So that's just a little bit of my journey, I suppose.
And how about you, Dom?
All right. My journey, like a lot of people, I started out in the community. So I used to be a big PvP person, and I used to debate a lot and used to really get into like the nitty gritty of mechanics in terms of my Final Bastion articles and my Wizard 101 Central articles and whatnot. And I used to talk to one of the ex community managers, Tom Purdue. Like we would always talk shop when it came to like PvP. Like, hey, these are the issues that are going on in PvP, or these are the issues that are these might be some spells you might want to look at or whatnot. So we always used to talk shop. So I got very in depth in like the system side of the game, but like working here wasn't like really on my like plan. Like Wizard 101 has always been a big part of my life, but it's always been kind of like not as a job consideration. Like I always played it, but like I did a ton of other jobs. Like I've been in the Navy, I've been a lab tech, I've done phlebotomy, I've done like Amazon package delivery. Like I've done a ton. So it was really like kind of like a roundabout way like I got here. So like I said, I always used to engage with the games, and I always used to talk, and I always used to get really in depth in it. And then one time I was on the Pirate 101 forums, and me and Ben Durbin, or Ratbeard, we were talking shop about Pirate, and I was probably arguing about him with something, because that's that's usually what I was doing on the forums. And Ben was like, okay, you have like a really, good mind for like design type elements and stuff, and have you ever considered like working for KI? And like I said before, it wasn't really like something that was on my radar, but I was like, yeah, that I'd actually be super interested in that. So I started looking into positions, and Ben was like, usually most people with no experience or whatnot, they start out as QA. So I was looking into QA positions, and I remember I sent Kaylee my resume to like review because I was like so nervous. I was like, I have like no experience in the gaming industry or whatever. I don't know how to break in. So can you review this resume? Does this look good? And Kaylee was like, yeah, that looks good and whatnot. So I sent in my resume and all that. But unfortunately, because I was working remote, there wasn't I couldn't do the QA positions because the QA positions were only local. But then fast forward a few months, and eventually there was a position opening up for design intern, which was like one of the few positions that was opening up like in a number of years for possibly a remote intern because of the COVID-19 situation. And so I talked to Ben. I was like, yeah, I would love to do this. And Ben was like, yeah, I think you'd be a great fit. So then I came in as an intern, worked under Matt Nedick, and learned a ton from Matt and Ben. And the rest is kind of history. I just got in, did my stuff, and they were like, oh, you're doing great, you know. And I was very fortunate. I kind of like picked up stuff fast. And then I got into as an actual full-time systems designer. And that's what I'm doing now.
Wow. I agree with the comments. That is quite a resume on there, too. So, what is a typical working day like for you?
Well, for speaking for myself in design, there's not really a typical work day. It's every day is different, which is kind of why it's so fun. Um, but yeah, there's days where like I guess like it's usually a combination of design meetings and implementation and designing stuff. For me, it's a lot of work in spreadsheets. Uh, that's just my kind of section of systems design. But yeah, so like some days you work on the same thing all day. Some days you work on 10 different things. Some days it's meetings the whole day. Sometimes there's no meetings. It's really there's really no 2 days that are alike.
That's pretty cool. How about you, Mia?
From my kind of like workplace, as an artist, we never work on the same thing. So it's not just concept art on my end. I work on a lot of different things. I work on icons, texture work, some modeling work for maybe gear, etc., and concept as well. A lot of drawing, a lot of drawing. Knock on wood, I don't have carpal tunnel yet, but it's something I really enjoy, and it's a lot of fun.
Yes. I guess kind of like the day to day for I guess us as community managers or me. I work pretty closely with Matthew and Chris. I'm probably like 98% of my workday is in a phone call with Hercules, one of the gems of the earth. He's one of the best humans on the planet, and I will talk him up forever. But we pretty much plan ahead on social posts and live streams like these, or just events in general. And yeah, it's a dream come true. It's honestly what I used to do for content creation, but now I just do it for my job.
That's awesome.
For me, really, there's a kind of a morning routine, and then depending on meetings and whatnot, it is still different, like every day. But normally in the mornings, it's just getting all of the promotions published and getting all of that ready, getting social posts scheduled, getting emails scheduled if there's an email for that day. Again, might have a meeting or two before or after lunch. Then I will normally work on basically giving our marketing artist what she needs to make all of our promotional images and landing pages and whatnot to go along with all of our new items and stuff like that. Sometimes there's data to be pulled, or Kaylee will ask me for my help on different things, and I'll do that. But it's just whatever comes up.
I would say that I start the day by updating and launching SVN and COBOL, which is what we use to make the game. And as it loads up, I actually just go to the lounge and get a cup of coffee. And when I sit back down, I go through email and my Jira queue, and then I get caught up on Teams messages, and I'll see what Jira tasks are ready, and I can build things in COBOL based off if the tasks are done or what the tasks ask for. I'll attend meetings. I'll create meetings when needed. I'll write GDDs. And GDD is a game design document for those who don't know. And then when lunch rolls around, I'll paint miniatures normally, or I'll go get lunch with some teammates. But my day's pretty structured, and I like it that way. I found something that works for me, and it can be different from day to day, but there's still that solid routine of check your Jira, check your meetings, like update things. Like it's different and the same, and I like it.
And how about for you, Vanessa? Kaylee. I was reading the names off of there.
Most of my days are meetings and emails. That's the funny thing about like being a manager versus like someone who's kind of more involved in the day-to-day. When you're an entry-level person, or you're like, I'd say like a mid-manager or someone who kind of does more IC work, basically individual contributor for those who don't know what that means. You're kind of more the nitty-gritty. Like when I first got started in marketing, I was doing copywriting and coordinating graphics, and now that I've kind of been promoted a few times and I lead a team now, it's less of that and more like more strategic level, high thinking, like what do we want to do throughout the entire year, and what are the beats we want to hit, and how do we get those beats done. So these days I kind of more delegate work. Like say if I need something done, I'll ask Mesa to do it, or I'll go to our artist and ask to see what the timeline could be for something. But yeah, a lot of my day is meetings, making decisions, and figuring out the timelines for marketing needs to get done. But I still talk to partners directly. So like Makeship, for example, I coordinate all of our partnerships as well as the things revolving around platforms. So we announced a few months ago that Pirate 101 is going to Steam. So I've been doing some back-end work on that. But yeah, I'm more like involved in the budgeting now and the higher level decisions that I then get to work with my team on. So I guess that's my day-to-day.
Awesome. For one, I love meetings, honestly.
Yeah, I guess it's my turn then. Yeah, I mean, simply put, I make things move and look cool, I guess, is kind of what my day-to-day looks like on a basic level. I mean, 3D animation can get pretty technical too. It's not just making things move. Usually what an animator will do, and this is definitely like also a practice outside of KingsIsle, is once like the character mesh is ready, like if we're gonna animate a character, we have to give it bones to make it move, which is often referred to as a rig. So we have to rig the character model, and then along with the rig we have controls that will make the puppet move, and that's how we kind of animate it, and all that stuff. So it's definitely a bit of a technical process, but one that I enjoy. 3D animation's fun because I can kind of combine my love for technical things and also just like creative art and put them together and kind of make some cool stuff that way. But yeah, outside of characters, we also are like responsible for like making the gear on characters move as well, which is something like as a player I didn't even really like think about. I was like, oh yeah, you would have to do this for the gear. Like, it's not just something that you model, you also have to put it onto the character rig and make sure it looks good with all the different wand poses and that sort of stuff. But that's kind of my typical day. There's definitely a lot more things that I do as well, but yeah, that's the average gist of it.
All right, so my day to day, usually I come in and the first thing I do is I check my emails, see if there's any emails that popped up. Then I'll check my meetings so I know what time slots I'll need to be in, what we're going to be doing. Then I usually have a list of tasks either on my Jira or like little notes I write to myself, like, hey, this is what you need to focus on today, this is what's priority. And then I either do those tasks, do implementation. Sometimes I'm in Excel, most of the times I'm in COBOL. I do implementation, then I either coordinate with other designers or whatnot to try and implement whatever we've decided, or we discuss different things like, hey, how's the meta evolving? Is this spell working? Are there any bugs that we need to fix? And stuff like that. So like Cam said, it really varies. Like some days you'll have like just a ton of meetings. You'll be in meeting after meeting after meeting. And other days you'll just have like a solid chunk of implementation work. And other days it'll just be brainstorming because sometimes like when we're doing bosses and stuff, some days it'll be like, what do I want this boss to do? Let me research the lore. Let me talk to writing. Like, hey, writing, what is this boss? What is the dialogue around this boss? Like, what's the backstory around this boss? Maybe I need to tailor my cheats towards this. And there's a lot of coordination with different departments. Like when you're working with gear, you'll want to coordinate with product because product will need to set it up in the crown shop or in the packs or whatnot. So you'll be like, hey, product, here's the like I don't know how to say it. Like here's the basic template of the gear. Like it doesn't have stats yet, but you can put these in your packs and I'll fill out the stats. And then I'll coordinate with art. I'll be like, hey, artists, are these things in? Okay, they're in. Bring it into the project, attach it to the gear, stuff like that. So it's a lot of coordination. Sometimes there's a lot of individual work, and it varies day by day and milestone by milestone. Like different milestones, like during world milestones, I'll typically be working more towards with mobs. I'll be testing mobs a lot. Hey, is this deck working? Is this mob spamming something that it shouldn't be spamming? Or do I want it to be spamming this thing? So that's my work day in a nutshell.
That's so cool. So different. I mean, even people working in the same department, have different things that they do. That's awesome. Now, what is your favorite thing that you've personally worked on? If you can tell us, wink, wink.
Yeah, I could tell you. So, for me, before I say my favorite, I would say an honorable mention for me is working on Beast Moon forms. Beast Moon has been probably my favorite part of the game for a while. I really enjoy Beast Moon, and like I designed the past 10 Beast Moon forms, and I just love playing as them and watching other people enjoy them, and that's really fun. But my favorite would probably be the bosses that I've made, like the special bosses with a lot of cheat work that make the fight unique. Like Drowned Dan is probably one of my favorites, and the final boss of Novus I thought was really cool. Like I just it was just really cool to me that I was even able to be working on, like from a player perspective, like the end boss of a world is a big deal, and just being able to make it do stuff is really cool. Yeah.
And how about you, Mia?
For me, I cannot say. Yeah, it's something I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and yeah, it's coming in the near and late future. Some things that I'm excited for. So y'all are just gonna have to wait and see.
I wonder if it has anything to do with some of your previous artwork.
Don't know. That's for y'all to wait and find out.
For me personally, It's actually a really strange thing because communities kind of we do a lot of stuff together. So personally, there's anything that I've done like solely all by myself. Maybe I kind of came up with the idea of IO Play originally, but then Chris and I just took it and ran with it. But it's mainly just a huge community effort. So we did like IO Plays, the Community Spiral Cup, which went really well. Um, and then we just do a lot of little stuff like the Spiral Cup, which is or not the Spiral Cup. I'm so sorry, the Spiral Showdown. So a lot of little community fun things is kind of our ballpark. So yeah.
For me, I have kind of two. Um, I really liked working on any kind of charity stuff that we do. It's always really fun to work on and help out with those things. I really liked the streams we do that are associated with a couple of the charity events that we do. And then, but that's definitely a huge thing that a lot of people are involved in. And those are always really cool. But my favorite thing that I've worked on is actually the carnival celebration that's happening right now. Now it's not like a big huge event. Like there's not an NPC associated with it. There's not a special fish associated with it or anything. There's just a bunch of cool items, and I really wanted to just kind of showcase that. And then I was a little bit ambitious, but I was really proud with how the landing page for it came out. Our marketing artist did a wonderful job on the little mask printout that you can print out and design however you want. And then we also added a king cake recipe on there as well. It's so simple. It's the most simple recipe you'll ever find. It's great. And then also on the topic of that, if anyone wants to redeem the code King Cake before 11:59 p.m. today, you can get your own Carnival King Cake housing item in both Wizard101 and Pirate101. So that's amazing. But anyway, back to the landing page and all of the content, images and whatnot surrounding that. What I wanted to do was I wanted to kind of bring a branding kind of to all the content images. So like our slides you see on the home page of the Pirate and Wizard websites, and then also on the patchers and whatnot, they all kind of follow the same theme, and they all have the same background and same text and whatnot, just to showcase that those are all in that specific kind of event. And I thought that was really cool. And then the landing page just looks awesome. Our marketing artist is awesome. Anyway, but yeah, that's my favorite thing so far.
I'd say my favorite thing was when we were creating Novus. I finally got to learn how to create a zone from scratch. So it went from script to concept to final product, and I was in charge of making sure that Stone of Heaven and Novus was set up. So I got to create the top-down map, and then a top-down is given to an artist, and then the artist models and skins the zone, and then I take the model and the skin, I put it in the COBOL, and I start adding game pieces such as like spawners, teleporters, NPCs, and then I get to take this document called the Omnibus, which is basically a script, and it has all the quests, and then I implement those quests. But I think soon my favorite thing that I've worked on will change, but I can't actually tell you about it yet.
All right, guess it's my turn. Oh gosh, there's so many different things. I would say the plushies come to mind. I've always, ever since I was a fan, I've wanted more Wizard101 and Pirate101 merch. So when I started becoming more involved with marketing, that was one of my goals. And I can say I have accomplished that. We have released a bunch of successful plushies, and those are not stopping. We also released our first vinyl figure. That was really, really cool to work on. And the Novus marketing campaign was really cool. We had never really done a branded logo before or done like a huge microsite. And that was also one of my goals, was to make a bigger deal out of our game updates, because I thought there was untapped potential there. And I'm proud to say that that paid off, and all of the work that our artists put into it and me and the team, it really showed. And that is always something that I'm proud of, and it's always great to see. And then the last thing that I think I'm proud of is just our newest trailers, I think, have came amazingly. So I redid the Wizard101 Steam trailer in the summer. That was with a new partner called Trailer Farm, and they are incredible. They also did our Novus trailer, and they also did our Pirate 101 Steam trailer, which I'm very excited about, and nobody has seen it except some people internally, but it is very, very good, and I'm very, very excited for other people to see it, and I'm curious to see what people think. So, those are the 3 things that I'm proudest of.
Nice. I can't wait to see it.
My turn then.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think. So things that are out that I can talk about that I'm proud of. Well, one of the first things I worked on while I was here was the Urk pet. I did all the animations for that little guy, and he just has a little special place in my heart because it was the first thing I worked on, and I thought he turned out pretty well for being so new. And then I also did some of the what we call ambient animations in the Novus Commons area in Conatus. I did a lot of the Polarian camp animations there. There's one where there's a Marleybone dog and a Polaris penguin kind of fighting or arguing about something, and I liked that one. I thought that was fun to do. So if you're in Conatus at all, you can check those out and see what they look like. But yeah, I've got a couple things that are not out yet that I can't talk about that I also like, so I'll just leave it at that, I guess.
All right. It's hard to pick a favorite from amongst the things that you do. So a lot of my favorite things are in the back end process, not necessarily things like the players will see. I love brainstorming sessions with bosses. One of my favorite memories is me, Cam, and Drew had a brainstorming session for Ramsay, and we were just going through Gordon Ramsay's little quips that he has throughout all his chef shows, and we were which ones would make at good cheats, and we were laughing, and it was great. And there's lots of other back end process stuff, when you're building a world, you could have the stats of the mobs and whatnot, but the art won't be ready, so you have to use placeholder art. So for the entirety of Novus, I made the raid mobs and Novus, I made my placeholder art storm elves. So when you walked into the early version of Novus, it was just storm elves walking around everywhere. And you were just fighting storm elves. And there's little touches that I like adding to the game, Perry the platypus in Sky City was we had platypuses and we needed a crafter, and I was okay, we have a crafter, and I'm hey, he's a platypus and he's in a modern suburban-esque setting, and I'm why is his name not Perry? So I'm he needs to be Perry. So I went over to the writers and I'm hey, can we do this? And they're yeah, sure, we can do this. That'll be a cool little Easter egg. And there's just a ton of little stuff, with the sprite swarm spell. When I created the minion, I'm what could be a minion to a sprite? Okay, it could be a little ball of light, and I had to go and find those assets that were already existing because we didn't have new time for art. So it was I had to find a mini spiritual ball asset, and that came together nicely. So there's a lot of little process things. And in terms of stuff that's in the game, I love creating really difficult and challenging bosses that make players think outside of the box. One of my favorite bosses to create was probably the Power Draconian, because I knew, hey, players are going to AoE that. And I'm they're not going to have a fun time when they AoE that. So I was designing the cheats for that one. And one of my favorite comments that I saw, which was actually on a video that was complaining about the Power Draconian, one of my favorite comments were hey, when I stopped trying to play this fight I usually play this fight, and I played this fight a different type of way, it was actually really fun. And that's what I kind of like to see. I like to see players trying new styles and new things to do. And then, well, once they actually hit that different style of fighting, it actually flows really smoothly and it actually feels really fun.
I love the new style that they have. I mean, I love the puzzles before, and I kind of miss those a little bit, but just the different styles that you need to adapt to when you're fighting these newer bosses. I love it. Alrighty. What, if anything, is the hardest thing about working for KingsIsle? Personally, it would be so hard having to wait until things are released. All the wonderful, wondrous things that you know are coming that you can't say anything about. That would be hard for me.
Yeah, I would say my hardest thing is kind of similar to that. The hardest thing for me is grappling with the reality that you can't do everything. Like we have so many things in the backlogs of like really cool things to do, and it's like, oh, can we do all of them? But no, you can't do all of them. So it's the hardest part is having to let go of stuff that you want to see in game. Well, at least temporarily.
How about you, Mia?
Definitely not being able to say like what's coming and what's happening next is a big one. But like once your stuff is out, it's great seeing, people's feedback and everything. It's just kind of that anticipation of like, oh, are they going to like it? What are they going to think about it? Something I can use, for example, is the moon, sun, and shadow gear that I designed and textured. Those gear sets that were in the member shop, and I think it's going to cycle through from now on. So now that they're all out, I can finally say that yes, they're there, and it's really cool to see people run around with these outfits and actually enjoy the stuff that people work on and have like a hand in. And I think that's one of the coolest things to see.
I am going to have to 100% agree with, well, everybody here that's said it so far, but Genevieve, you hit the nail right on the head. Like, our job as community managers is really to just like kind of hype you guys up and communicate with you guys. And so like not being able to spill the beans on all of the amazing stuff that's happening behind the scenes is the most difficult part about the job. Because like one thing I used to do as a content creator was whenever there was leaks or whenever there was any fun little ways to just like get any bits of information, I always made a video about it, talked about it, what I thought about it. And now I kind of can do that, but I have to tease it more. We have to kind of go through a little bit more of a tease process, probably with Kaylee and Matthew, and it's just so difficult. But yeah, that's probably the worst bit. Everything else is great.
We love the teases.
It's great.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everybody else here. A kind of separate one. It's really, I don't know. I just have a hard time stopping when I'm working on something and like I'm so passionate about it, I will not stop working. It's like, oh, it's 6 p.m. Oh, didn't realize that. Anyway, but I could probably work for like 20 days straight and not even realize it. But it's just like just stopping and realizing, and that's why we have alarms and we love that. But yeah, no, it's so, I love working on everything and just getting stuff done. And then, yeah, as everyone else said, all of our landing pages will be ready to go. And then I'm just like, oh, I can't wait for them to see it. And then as soon as it gets published, it's like, I want everyone to see it right now because it's so cool and there was work that went into this. But yeah.
I'd say the hardest thing about working for KingsIsle. I think the hardest thing is losing the ability to be just a player, nothing else but just a player, because I can no longer play Wizard101 without knowing how stuff is made or seeing when things are done differently and being curious about how it's done. I've actually written down when I've seen unusual things to figure out how to do them and in COBOL, and then yeah, I can no longer be less connected to my project as long as I'm on the team, you know?
I guess for me, one of the hardest parts about working at KingsIsle is not always being able to explain why something was done a certain way. I feel like sometimes I'll log into Twitter or social media in general, and people will just be like, why did they make this decision? This is so stupid. And I know why something was done. And most of the time, I'd say 99% of the time, it was done for a reason and the right reason, but we can't always say what that reason was publicly. So sometimes I really struggle with that because I just want to like scream and go, no, here's what happened and it makes sense. But I just can't do that. So sometimes reading those comments, it kind of hurts me to not just kind of just shout out and be like, this is why. But that's my answer.
I mean, I feel like everybody who works on creating something tends to be a perfectionist to some degree, and that's definitely something I've always kind of struggled with as an artist and as an animator. You know, you want to make something look like super awesome, amazing, and all that stuff, and especially like, you know, as somebody who's like in an associate or junior role. You're always still learning. I mean, even when you are like, you know, a very experienced artist or whatever your career is, like you're always open there's always room to learn and grow and discover new ways of doing something. And I think you know, just reminding myself that like, you know, I'm still young. I still have a lot to learn, and like not everything has to be perfect. And sometimes like being able to you know, allow myself to not have that pressure is really hard, especially because Wizard is my favorite thing ever, so I want to make the stuff that I work on look really, really good, or as good as I can, and just, you know, it's definitely a struggle to kind of remind myself to like, okay, step back, take a breath, like, you know, do what you can, it'll still look really good, don't be too nervous about it, and that sort of stuff. So but yeah, that's pretty much my main thing, I guess.
And for me, one of the hardest parts is, like Cam said, there's just so much that you want to do and so much you want to learn to do, and you kind of want to. It's like you're at Halloween and you're a little kid and you see the giant bowl of candy and you have to choose like a handful, but really you want the entire bowl of candy, but you can't just go and like grab the entire bowl. So it becomes really hard to like kind of like pick and choose. Like, hey, I, I I really want to work on this, but I have to work on this versus that, and we're always learning and we always have the opportunities to learn and to do more things, but it always feels like maybe it's not enough. Like I want to do more and more and more and more. And the other thing is, as a player, it's difficult to kind of play because as a player you're kind of playing in the present, but as a developer you're developing in the future. So one thing I've noticed is that as a player, like I'll go in the game and I'll be like, hey, I want to do this thing, and then I'll remember like, oh wait, this thing is not in the game yet. I can't do this thing yet. So it's a little bit difficult to kind of like have that. I'm in the present now as a player, but I'm developing in the future, so that's kind of hard to do as well. Because sometimes I'll go into like a PvP match and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna run this strategy, and then I'll be like, oh wait, the tools to support this strategy aren't out yet, so interesting.
Yeah, gosh, that is so true. I was just thinking probably players can relate to that with like if you're working on a new thing that's in test realm and then you go back to live and it's like, oh yeah, oh wait, it's not out yet. Oops, sorry. And let's see. Last one I have, because I don't want to run you guys too long, is what advice do you have for current players that have a dream to work in game creation?
Well, that is a good question. I would say if you're trying to get into game design or like be a developer like myself, and I would say that I guess it's the same as any job that you want really is, do research and networking is good. And if you love playing, that will definitely get you, that will get you further than I guess someone who hasn't played. But it's also good to learn about game design and maybe make your own games and all of that. But I would also say, like, don't give up before you even try. Like, if you put your mind to it, you can get there. So definitely don't get down on yourself. Like, you don't need to be the best, the best at your job. Like, I mean, you don't have to be the best game designer in the world or the best anything. I guess you just work at it and you'll get there. So yeah.
Guess it's my turn. Advice I would give to current players, art-wise, be open to anything and everything. I didn't know when I graduated and started working for KingSouth that I would be doing a lot of 3D stuff and texture work. I thought it would just be concept work, but no. It opens you up to a lot of new opportunities and things that you never know you would do it before. So that's one of my biggest things I would say. Try anything and everything, and practice. Definitely practice makes perfect. And be open to constantly learning. And yeah.
I mean, yeah, I definitely have to agree with Cam for sure, and Mia. But like, if you have a dream, just go for it. You can do anything you put your mind to. I know that sounds super cliche, but when I was a kid, I honestly did not think I would be where I am today, and it was because of the little bit of drive that I had, and definitely network. Like, networking is so important. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, reach out to people, try and talk to them, get to know them, make sure to try new things like Mia said. All that helps like a lot. So yeah.
I definitely say going off of that, networking for sure. And then also, if you are going out for a specific area, be open to learning anything, because there might be something that you will have never found in your research or anything. But if you get asked about it in an interview, just be like, oh, I actually don't know that, but I will totally be willing to learn that and do my best to learn everything about that, and just try to go out and be willing to do whatever you need to do to make your dreams come true. I will be rhyming. Anyway, essentially just that, and then also just get involved too. If there's a specific game you want to work on, get involved in that community. Get your face there, and even if it's not really like going out and tagging like specific people, just like even just using the game's hashtag or something and tweets or anything just like that, just get just some part of you into that community and just make yourself known somehow. It's not really, it won't harm you unless you're like dissing on the game, because that would not be good. Don't say mean things unless it's constructive, Anyway, but yeah, I'd say that's networking, and then be willing to learn things that you don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of like two answers here. The first one's philosophical. So like the philosophical one is be kind, like never be cruel towards the passionate people who are dedicating their entire careers towards your enjoyment. You might be in their shoes someday, And also never be scared or cowardly. Like, take those opportunities as they present themselves and don't let them pass you by. Even reach out yourself if you need to. If you want more literal advice, I'd say play games to understand. So ask why. Why did the designer go this direction versus another? Why did the art director choose this color palette? Then you can speculate or write down to the design team or post to a forum or become a blogger. There's a lot of ways to get into the game creation. There's also a lot of resources available for game creation as well. Unity actually has many guides for game creation. There are games specifically designed to encourage game creation, such as Super Mario Maker and Dreams for the PlayStation. And a lot of, I say a lot, but there's quite a few out there that are free and should be pretty accessible, depending on what you're trying to do, whether or not it's 3D or 2D game design specifically.
Well, for me, and I can't stress this enough, be careful what you say publicly, because I can assure you anything you post on social media will be researched when you put in a resume or you have an interview. And if you've been cursing out devs on Twitter or you're ranting and none of it is constructive, that gives the people interviewing a glimpse into what you'd be like to work with. And that usually gives a negative impression. So on any public platform, any social media, be careful what you say. And if you want to get into the industry, you have to keep that in mind. You have to assume that any potential employer is going to be seeing what you're saying right now. And as a manager, I can say, and Mesa has been in these conversations with other people we've interviewed, we have absolutely declined people because of things that we've seen in the research phase. So you don't want to be one of those people. Constructive criticism is awesome, and that is welcomed. We always have debates internally, and they're always healthy. And that's really the most important part. So yeah, be critical of the game, but offer solutions and be kind about it. There's definitely a way to relay that information without being nasty, and that's really what we're looking for. And then just to kind of capitalize on everything everyone else has said, networking is so important. Get to know the devs, ask the right questions, and do what you want to do. Even before I worked here, I was doing, like I said, writing an MMORPG. I was involved in the community and moderation. I knew I wanted to be in marketing, so I reached out to game marketers and asked them, what should I do as a hobby in my free time to put me ahead of the other potential applicants? And that can make a huge difference. So that is my advice.
Yeah, I mean, I am definitely going to echo a lot of what people have already said. One thing that I think of is networking. Yes, like it is so important to network, and I feel like a lot of people are afraid to reach out and talk to people, especially if they are already in the industry. But my advice is just do it. You're not being annoying. Like a lot of the time, if you're just genuine about reaching out to somebody and like asking them questions, and they're usually more than happy to talk to you about stuff related to the industry and give advice if you're asking for advice. So yeah, definitely that. And I would also say don't think that just because you haven't done something by the time you're like 25 or 30 or 35 or whatever, that you can't get into the industry or do what you would like to do. I think that's kind of a big misconception, is that if you're not, working, your dream job by the time you're whatever age or whatever, that you've quote unquote failed, and that's so far from the truth. I think that, if you really want to do something, you have the time to get into it and, build your skill and build yourself up to eventually get to where you want to go. Because I feel like a lot of people can kind of get into the despair mindset of, oh, I haven't done blah 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 by this time, or oh, my art's not that good, I'll never catch up, or whatever. And I would say just work with yourself and keep building to where you want to get to, and it'll probably happen. I would say. So yeah, that would be my advice, is to be patient with yourself. Yeah.
So true, so true. Be patient and kind with yourself.
And my advice for getting into not just the gaming industry, but any kind of career is find what you're passionate about and work towards it. Like if you have a passion for like design or you have a passion for analytics, like do those, like get into those and express yourself. And like Kaylee was saying, you do have to be like kind of careful what you say on social media, but that doesn't mean don't give constructive criticism or whatnot. Like I said, my conversations with Ben started with me debating him on Pyro 101. Obviously wasn't like agreeing with everything Ben was doing in the game at that time, but I knew how to phrase it. I knew how to bring up like points. I knew how to have constructive criticism, and that's an important distinction to make. Like, and especially for like a systems design, and like we're looking for people who can articulate their ideas and who can like look deeper into a certain aspect of the game to and express what they're trying to get to. We're not necessarily looking for, oh, everything is great. Like that everything is great to be like doesn't really tell me anything from an informational standpoint. But if I say like this system works this way and this is why, or this is why it's not working or something like that, and you bring up an idea that hey, maybe I haven't considered or something like that, then you're a possible candidate, at least in my eyes, because it shows that you're doing like that deeper level thinking. You're actually going underneath the game. You're not just looking at it from a surface level, but you're actually like digging deeper and actually putting in the time to think about these things. And like I said, passion is a big part of it, because once you find what you're passionate about, then it becomes a lot easier. Like there's a quote, and I can't remember it right now. It's like, if you love your job, you never work a day in your life. And it's kind of true. Like if you're passionate about something, you'll be able to like articulate it. You'll be able to look at it, and it won't feel like work to you, but it'll actually be something that you like people will recognize that hey, this person's actually putting in the time, putting in the effort, and all that stuff. And I want to reiterate what Oki said, Erica said, was like it's never too late. Like I said before, came into the industry, like coming into the gaming industry wasn't like even like on my radar, like of the scope of jobs I did. It wasn't like even like on the mirror, but I had a passion for Wizard 101, and I still have a passion for Wizard 101 and Pirate 101. I was able to communicate that, and you never know where the path leads, so leave yourself open to that and just continue working towards it. And networking is key. Networking, feel free to approach, like a lot of us are on Twitter or on social media or on Discord or whatnot. Like feel free to approach us and be like, hey, I'm interested in this. What is your advice for this? And most of us are more than happy to help you out with that kind of stuff.
Awesome, awesome. So, such good advice. You know, you guys are so positive and open. I haven't had pretty much any experience with any other developers from other games, but I have heard from some people that this game has a lot more, you know, open and communicative devs than a lot of other games. So I, for one, appreciate it. I know the community appreciates it. And I'm not sure if we're running a bit long or if you guys have any time for like community questions.
I think
I'm
it'll just
open for some
I'm
questions.
open for a little bit, but yeah.
Same.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So I did a tweet a few days ago, and here's some questions that I got from there that I thought were pretty awesome. Alrighty, so from Isaiah Hexrider, and I do believe they're actually in the game right now, right here. Any plans to implement better diversity and representation of people of color into the game in terms of character customization and also NPCs?
I think that having like the representation is actually coming like more and more as opportunities come. Like we're noticing pieces, or one of the things that I really enjoyed recently that got released was the diverse hairstyle in the Marleybone motorist pack. Then also, if you're looking for more diversity, Philly's dog recently, I would consider them to be diverse. And I think overall, just keeping an eye out for those opportunities in the future is always something that we want to do. I don't know if anyone else wants to chime in.
Oh, like 100%. I'm just gonna piggyback off of that. Like, King's Isle is a pretty old game, and so any opportunities nowadays where we have the chance to do that is absolutely incredible. Um, so yeah, and also like Mercedes said, just if you guys have suggestions on what you'd like to see in the game, that's always like super super important. So please be as open as possible, and we are always paying attention.
Yeah, I can't answer from like an in-game standpoint because that's not really my domain, but I can say that we've definitely made more of an effort on the marketing side to kind of showcase more diversity in our promotional material. So in our renders, we try to like do a variety of skin tones, and in our trailers, the pirate trailer that hasn't come out yet is a very good example. There was an earlier edit that kind of just showed male characters, and so I had them re-edit it so that they included some more diversity, different skin tones, different genders. So we are conscious of it from a marketing side as well, and we will continue to, just like last year we did some pride initiatives, we are doing that again. So just for that to be on everyone's radar, we are trying to also do more charity work to benefit different kinds of people from different backgrounds.
Awesome.
100% great question though.
Yes, awesome. All right, from Lord Nibura, if you could perform one spell in real life, what would you pick?
Reindeer Knight. Reindeer Knight. Or
Ninja
Blizzard.
pigs.
Oh my god, or well, see, I'm not a myth wizard. That's all your
But I am. So ninja pigs. That's it.
God, that's a good question. I've always been like, I'm an ice wizard, like on my main account, but I've always been a fan of a lot of the myth spells. I really like the Colossus one. That's like the mantis with the big that shoots the big laser out of
Mystic Colossus.
Yeah, Mystic Colossus. I just really love that one. I also one of my favorite one of my other favorite spells is the Headless Horseman. I think visually that's one of the most well done like cinematic-y spell that there is. So probably between those two for me.
I agree with Headless.
Any of the shadow spells, I want to crawl up the
Oh,
walls.
Yes. Oh my god, Mia. I totally forgot about the shadow spells. You're right. Oh my god. Yeah.
Any of the shadow spells.
You're right. That's also my answer, part 3.
I'm surprised you didn't say the Morganth one.
I was
No,
thinking
there's an
about it.
ice
It's a
version,
different one.
Morganth's Gaze.
Yeah, yes, there is. I was also thinking of like there's that version of her in her shadow form that you get from the jewel spell, but there's also like her self-cast ones where she like descends down with a bunch of spiders, and that's also cool as heck. So any of those for me.
No, yeah, I feel that. I'm a sucker for actually all the ice spells, so I mean I could like be like Reindeer Knight, but like I love them all.
I'm out here imagining Dom gonna say Storm Elf.
No,
Yeah.
no, that's wrong. I'm actually going from more of a utility perspective. Probably one of the cantrip teleports, just to be able to get to wherever I want to, or Mark and teleport, or Guardian Spirit, because I feel like it'd be really cool. Like, if something happened, like I run across the street and I get run over. Oh, nope, I'm fine.
Valid.
Nice.
Oh, the healing spells too. Like it'll just replace coffee in the morning, just like a fairy. Good morning.
Wake you up.
Wake you
The
up.
Dryad. I always like the Dryad spell a lot
Mhm.
too. Anyway,
Grendel Amends is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love that spell so much. What's the next question?
That would be hard. I don't even know if I could ever pick one. I can't remember exactly who asked it because I couldn't find it in the question that I asked. But out of the community member employees, who's the class clown, teacher's pet, nerd of Ravenwood Development School, all those? Do you guys have little nicknames for each other?
In the community team?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
like out of the people here, or like
Yeah, I think out of the
like
people in the call.
oh, okay. I'm like, wait. Yeah. Oh, That's a. Oh my god, I don't know. I think
Never
we're
thought
all
about that.
crazy.
Okay, how about this? If you were to describe like something similar, if you were to describe like different people with the word like, wait, we're in alphabetical order in like this list. Maybe
Yeah.
we could like say what we represent with each person underneath us or something. It's like
All
maybe you say something about
right.
me, and then I would say something about Kaylee. I don't want this to go on forever. I'm just
Oh
saying like,
boy.
it'd be easy enough. So Cam, what do you think when you look at Mia?
Honestly,
Wait, hold on. We could also just describe what we think we are in our
Yeah.
little group.
I think we need
Because
to
I
hang
can
out
only
more.
imagine being like, you're terrible. No.
You could just be like general, be like, oh my gosh, your art's amazing, and your
I mean,
OC,
it is.
a chef's kiss. Oh
Yeah.
my god, yeah.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I think we need to hang out more. The group of us, I feel like this is the first time we've all really been in the same place, physically or virtually.
Should I organize
Another
another
gathering.
karaoke night?
There you go.
That could be
That's
fun.
the one.
Karaoke.
Yes.
Oh boy.
We'll sing "Take on Me" again, and Kaylee
That
will
was
go
so
into
much
the
fun.
unknown and break the windows with the pitch.
Okay, be nice. She's fantastic.
No, I
Yeah,
sang
she
pretty
got a pie.
terribly, let's be honest. Oh my gosh. I sang Into the Unknown and that was not known.
I was
No.
there with you. We did a fantastic job. I think our pitch was on point. Don't ask
Okay.
Cam though, or Drew, the professionals of the group.
Oh my gosh, Drew and Cam, they started duoing, and it was amazing.
They were alright.
I want it that way. It was pretty good.
Yes. And then we don't talk about Bruno, and you were just like, I got this.
I'm so
Oh my
sorry
gosh,
that
yes.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moana.
Yeah, unfortunately, Drew's not here, but his falsetto is insane.
Mayonnaise-inator says, video evidence of this karaoke?
We don't talk
Not,
about
for the,
that.
not for the general public, okay?
I don't have videos. Well, I take it back. I do have
Well,
videos, but
we
those
do
aren't going
have
out.
videos, but we're not sharing them.
But I have pictures. I can post pictures.
No leaking the singing. They'll have to
Yeah.
somehow get the karaoke room next to us to hear.
We definitely need to do that again. That was fun.
It was. Oh my God,
Well,
Joel! Hi, Joel.
I will say, I think overall, when I think of class clown, I think of Kyle just because we'll be in a
Yeah.
call and Kyle
Yeah.
will say something so random
Out
in
of
the middle
pocket.
of a very serious discussion, and I'll do a double take.
Yeah, my ADHD is crazy, and it's honestly so much better when Chris is there. He keeps me on like, well, we both have ADHD, so we're losing our minds. But like, we keep each other anchored, and if Chris isn't there, I'm just all over. It's terrible.
Like,
So
Kyle will just go meep in the middle of a meeting. He'll just go meep.
so are we saying Kyle's the class clown? From the
That's what I
sounds of
vote
it.
personally.
So like Cam and Drew apparently are like the choir.
Yeah,
The choir.
Mesa,
The choir.
I would say she is the dress up queen. Like 100% shows up any
Oh
event
my,
she can,
yes.
dresses up.
100%. So talent.
Yes.
So
I
talent.
can always guarantee you will have a good outfit. Let's see.
Kimi are way too creative.
Interior designer,
it
Mia.
hurts.
Ooh, yes.
Y'all are a lot. I can't. No.
I feel like it's hard to identify, at least from my end, like Dom, because like
Dom's
I
a
work
smart
with Cam
boy.
in person every once in a while, but like Dom and I, like, he's reliable. I don't know how else to put it. Like same with Cam though. Like don't not out of context, but like from
Respectful individual.
yeah, but like if I need something, I'll be like a random question out of the blue. Dom usually answers.
Oh man, you guys are so
You have
much
a next
fun.
question?
Oh yes. And again, I'm not sure what happened to the original tweet, but paraphrasing, for those that haven't done any voice acting work in the game yet, is there a particular type of character you would like to do, or maybe like a new NPC, something like that?
Well,
Oh.
we have like
That'd be
little
fun.
read-throughs. We have read-throughs of the story.
Yeah,
when
story
we're
time with
coming close.
Sam.
Yep. And one of those things I've discovered during the read-throughs is that I cannot do voices.
You're good.
Never been there. That sounds like it would be an amazing time.
Yeah, the script reading is always a good time. It takes about what 2 or 3 days to do an entire script reading,
Yep.
Love it.
Multiple
I
and
love
sessions.
then there are long meetings. And at the beginning of every meeting, you say who's attending, and then do you want to read or are you just lurking? And then if you're willing to read, they assign you a part, and then you have to pay attention to the script because as soon as you get to your part and you're not like kept up, you feel slightly embarrassed maybe.
Yeah.
But so like as for voice acting, I know Kaylee has done a lot, and a lot of us in this call have done a lot for Novus. However, the other world's coming out. I mean, we all know it, Waller. We'll probably be voicing that, but yeah, it's a lot of in-house stuff. There's also a lot of like really really great voice actors that KI usually gets.
So like, can you guys do the accent for Wallaroo? Are you gonna have
You're
to
gonna have to
practice?
learn.
Isn't it like Australian? Like, oh, LA?
Good on,
Oi.
Mike.
G'day, mate.
Good on, Mike. Welcome to Wallaby.
I will say the accent I struggled most with was I tried to do I don't actually know if this actually made it into the game, but I did try a French accent in Novus.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh my god.
It was real.
Oh.
I don't know if
Did-
it actually made it in.
Did you
It
start
did.
out the conversation as I took French in high school, and then they're like, "Oh, you gotta know it."
Well, here's the thing. I can do French in a French accent. I can't do English in a French accent. That is like a different ballpark. But I have noticed I do voice a lot of like the damsels in distress or hostages. So I guess
Hostage.
Are you going to be asking them to be like Duck Savage next time? Be like, I want to be a strong role.
I feel like I definitely voiced one or two of those, but I think maybe my high-pitched voice just lends itself to being in danger and screaming. I don't know. I'll take what I can get. I'm not picky, okay?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm still pretty new, so I haven't done any voice work or anything like that. But I would love to, even if it's just like 2 words. I'd be like, yes, let me do it.
Yeah.
Same. If I was like a kid in the corner, like screaming or something, I'd take that role.
Agreed.
Whoever
If I
was
go
it.
roll for nails on chalkboards, and we want the players to turn off their audio, then I'll be in that one.
No,
Oh.
no.
Maybe-
Talk to Mike and Anders.
So you
You'll
know
be good, or
how
Sam.
you know how Leah did the scream for Banshee? Maybe you could do a spell voice.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Oh my god, yeah, I lost it when I found out Carl did the leprechaun, and I was like, do it in person. He was like, I was like, whoa.
No way. Did it? No way. I need to ask him to do that now.
Yeah,
Snowman
it's
too.
crazy.
The snowman.
Oh, he
I
did,
thought
yeah.
did that too.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Oh,
I'm
gosh.
still shocked that Mike is Mubu because he sounds like way
Right.
manlier. Yeah, he sounds like
Whoa,
he's
I could've
huge,
never guessed
like
that.
muscular Chad voice actor.
Yeah.
No, it's just Mike, No, like no
Yeah.
slap to Mike, but like
Yeah. No, I just would have never
Mike is
guessed that would
completely
be his
different.
voice. Huh.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day.
Yes, you do.
Super cool.
Well, there better be. I know there's a reference in Pirate 101 already, but there better be some Crocagator Dundee in Wallaroo. Just saying. I'm gonna get disappointed all
Can't
the
wait
time.
for y'all to see that world.
Yes, I know.
So much has happened.
Oh boy, sounds so.
A lot of stuff we can't say.
Yup.
we can't say anything. We can't say teams. We can't do nothing.
You can't say what?
Nothing.
Oh gosh. That's so funny.
While there's the next world, that's what we can say.
The end.
Well,
The
good,
end.
good, yes. Yes. Now, is Mumu based off somebody because that character seems so familiar?
Yeah,
I just can't place
Yeah.
it.
History. Oh my gosh, I need to find it. It's something, not Mubu. It's literally something Boo. I was gonna look it up, but my fingers are confused. So
Lubu, says somebody in chat.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's like a crazy important person in
I
history.
have to Google him.
Well,
Oh,
I guess what I should have meant was like how he did the voice. It just sounds so familiar, like
Oh.
a character I've known from somewhere. It's like every time I go through
mean-
there and he's talking, it's like, man, who is that? It seems so
I
I
my
mean,
familiar.
Mike
favorite
voices a
is-
lot of people.
He does. My favorite one for him is Librarian Fitsum because he sounds just like Stewie.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
It's
I
so
don't
funny.
understand either. That's crazy.
Yep. Just imagine Sam or Mike just doing most of the voices in the game. They have such a crazy range of they're so great.
They're
Like
so
the
good.
Highland Gauntlet, they bounce off each other real well as the hosts
Yeah.
of the Highland Gauntlet. They normally do. Like, I don't think that there's like a single world where they wouldn't be doing some sort of voice acting as long as they were on the team. Because also, Mike does Gandry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like,
Mhm. Yeah.
he's been there for a while.
Oh,
He does Milo too in Pirate 101, which is crazy when you compare Milo's voice to like Mubu's voice, and you can see the range that Mike has.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, that is so neat. Like you said, it's such a
I-
range too.
I did see someone ask in the chat whether I voiced Princess Pesca. I did. That was me.
I mean, unless
So stay tuned.
Chat has any
There'll be
others,
lots more.
Unless Chat has any other questions. I mean, the last question I have is the one, of course, everybody wants to know. Is there anything you can give us, tease, a taste, anything for something coming up?
Oh God, I hate that I spoke first.
No.
We never got anything approved. No.
Well, no,
Sorry.
you're right. We can't really say anything, but I mean, just from what everybody knows because of Novus, we're going to Wallaroo for obviously a very, very important reason. I'm not going to say anything else because I don't want to spoil anything too crazy, but the story is going to get crazy. It gets super deep.
I would say come to
So
KI
be very
Live, right?
mindful. Yeah, come to KI Live.
Yeah.
Ooh. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. By the way, that's this Thursday, right?
Yeah, I was so ready to say that. Yeah, every Thursday, or I'm so sorry, the last Thursday of every single month is KI Live, the 23rd, this Thursday. So come by, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, and yes.
Yes, yes. Looking forward to it. I heard that there was some pirate news also.
Yeah. And Chris has stuff to say. To tease.
Ooh, good, good.
I mean, Hercules.
Well, yes, no, as both for sure. Oh, someone else in the chat has a question of what games does everybody work on?
Oh, what games do we? I mean,
Like, do you work on?
go ahead,
both?
everybody.
The list again?
I mean, that.
I'm pretty much only Wiz at this point, but I very rarely participate in pirate discussions too.
I work on both Wizard and Pirate. I get pulled back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, I feel like I'm very lucky to have the privilege to, I mean, work on Wizard, which is a dream come true, but I get to also dabble with Pirate and even Wizard EU, which is really awesome.
Yep, I'm Wizard NA, Wizard EU, and Pirate.
I just work on Wizard mainly, but I have helped out in Pirate, but that doesn't happen too often for me right now.
So since marketing is kind of a shared resource between everything we work on, I do work on all of our games. So Wizard, Wizard EU, and Pirate.
Yeah, for me, I'm in a similar boat to Mia. I get pulled between Wizard and Pirate, though I've been mainly working on Pirate-related stuff for the past little bit, so that's been fun.
Mainly Wizard related stuff. Did some bug fixes for Pirate 101 before, and in the future maybe we'll see. where I'll be participating more in Pirate 101. Fingers crossed.
Awesome, awesome. I wouldn't say I'm surprised at how many people work on both, but that's just awesome. That's good stuff coming in the future, I see. Ooh. Joel says, me and Eric's stuff will be out in Pirate really soon. Ooh.
I love the teases. We're doing great.
I know, I know.
Oh, hi, Joel. Yes.
Yeah,
soon.
I do.
Oh yeah, he's in chat.
I do need more arms for these plushies. I've only got 3 over here. The gobbler's too big. But I love them all. Great work on these plushies. They're so cute. Must have more. Oh, yes. And also,
Well,
when does the
you'll get
Grandmother
more.
Raven come out? The 24th for the Grandmother Raven plushie?
February, yes. This is a perfect time for a merch plug.
Yeah.
Plug it.
Launching February 24th, 50% of the money we make from the plushie will be going to the Zach Theater here in Austin, Texas, which is really awesome because they're all about inclusion and diversity and it basically just helping out young entertainers through camps and classes. And local arts and entertainment programs are really, really underfunded. So I think this is a great cause, and a huge tie and thank you to Dell, who sadly passed away last year, and we really wanted to do something in her memory, and I feel like this is a really good thing to do. So, do it.
Yeah. Get that bird.
Now, will there be an in-game item with that one, like there is for the rest of them?
Yes, it will have an in-game Grandmother Raven plushie housing item like the rest have come with.
Woohoo! Is that one just for Wiz for the in-game item?
I'll have to double check on that. I know the more recent plushies, we've done them in both. I don't know offhand. I'd have to double check.
Okie dokie. Yes, I agree. It is a great way to honor her.
Joel said both in the chat, Kaylee.
Oh.
Rachel said take her money, so yeah.
I think we all say take my money with the Grandmother Raven plush.
No, it's actually funny when Ambrose came out. We do get a fun little thing that Katie does us. And so it came out and I bought it so fast. It was crazy. I forgot everything. Like I went into a trance and bought it way too quick.
You're reloading the page for the countdown.
Yeah, just keep doing that.
Yeah. Put an alarm on your phone just so you're ready.
Oh gosh, absolutely. Okay, well, is there any other questions in chat? Because I'm about tapped out on mine. I know we've run a bit long, but everyone's stories are just so interesting, and I know everybody wants to know, what it's like not only to work for the company, but just to go from loving the game, participating in the game, to like working on the game. I find that stuff just so fascinating. Oh, you've had many but no were answered? I'm so sorry if I missed yours. Let's see. Oh, they did ask if the EU team was going to be expanding.
We've already kind of done that now. Like that's been a recent development type thing. But yeah.
Is that one of those questions that we probably should be like, we'd love to answer, but
Yeah,
we
kind of.
might
That's
not
why
be
the
able
answer is
to.
so vague. I'm like, we
Like-
kind of already did, but like I can't give you a selling answer.
Gotcha.
Should have come up with a word like next.
Well,
Another one?
they did add to that saying our applications for Europe accepted are only US based.
Ah, I see.
I don't believe KingsIsle employees can be outside of the US. That is to my knowledge. I could be wrong. Our job postings probably have more information, but I don't think any of them are outside the US.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was gonna say most information will be found on the job listing.
Well, the other thing too, I don't know, because EU is a bit of a different like kind of ball game. There are like moderators, game masters, and things like that. We aren't currently looking for anybody new, but I guess if you keep an eye open, eventually we might decide to do that. But we don't have any like time frames for opening up that.
Okay, I'm scrolling backwards through the chat, make sure I don't miss some. Rachel Kennedy asks, "Are we going to get a catwalk for some fashion shows?"
Fashion. I don't know what
That's
you're talking about.
another thing that we probably can't talk about.
Nah.
Stay tuned to Care Live.
Well, they did tease a passion for fashion before, so
Exactly. Well, you get ready.
Fashionable.
I do
Fashionable.
have to wrap it up shortly.
Alrighty. Well, yeah, like I said, you guys have answered so many questions, and everything's just so interesting about the behind the scenes of it. I mean, it's been so amazing to get a glimpse of this, from you all who make the games that we love, and you're doing a fantastic job. I love it as much as I try to never say, oh, well, why can't they just do this? I mean, I know there's just so much that goes into it, and it takes so much work, and I want to thank all of you for all your hard work. We appreciate it. I know that I'm sure you're not told enough how much we appreciate every bit of work that you do. So I'm just so honored that you guys come out and answer all our questions, hang out, and thank the community for coming and hanging out and listening to the devs' awesome stories. We love it. And
Thanks for having us.
Thank you
It
for
was a lot
having
of
us
fun.
on this
Thanks for having us,
roundtable.
Thank you.
Aw.
It was fun.
Thanks.
Yes. And don't forget, in 2 days, it's the KI Live, and in 3 days, Grandmother Raven plushie drops. Yes, make sure to check out the
Yes.
important news that we're going to get on that KI Live. Yes, yes, and thank you to the community for all your questions. Fantastic. And I just love being a part of this community. You're all fantastic. So there's nothing else to say other than thank you, right?
Thanks. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Adios, adios.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
And I'm sure I haven't mentioned it, but that code on the screen, that's for redeeming. And I believe the code King Cake is still good for all of today. And also the code Ravenwood Legacy is good for either a day or so more. And also don't forget...
That's expired.
Oh, that one's expired.
Don't redeem it.
Okay, then don't redeem that one. Someone was saying that in the comments. I wasn't 100% sure. Okay, never mind. Don't ignore the Ravenwood Legacy. But, yeah, King Cake is still good. And then we have, what is this one? That's why I had it scrolling so I wouldn't forget. It's Feb Friends 23. And let's see. I already double checked. Say, where's my redemptions? What is that one for? That one is for the Holiday Flowers and Candy Bundle. Thank you to KI for providing that code for everybody. Yes, I know. Just so awesome. I love these roundtables. You find out such cool information. And I'm sure my kids are bugging me to start some dinner. So I'm also going to go. I loved hanging out with you guys, and we will see you later. Bye.
Bye everybody. Thanks for stopping by.